It's been a while, a little too long for that matter. I have really missed making these videos, and I've had 1,000,005 times I've wanted to make one and just have not. I have been working so hard on my own journey and a lot of current events and just putting things into play, but with the current events has really just pushed me to get weird and start talking about this awful problem that we have going on in our current community. Everyone sees it happening around the world for that matter, and it's a really weird subject because when you bring it up, it is usually 9 times out of 10 when you bring up addiction and suicide, it comes with a stigma and a level of disgust, if you will. And I think it is truly the most misunderstood thing and our #1 problem right now. Based off the recent events, just last night I received a text message that definitely is every person's worst nightmare, and when it's in relation to someone taking their own lives. Immediately my first thought, because unfortunately this has not been our first run-in with suicide, the last couple years have been pretty heavy in the matter of, I'll go back to my other subject here in a moment, but I don't know if you guys know, 2 years ago Jordan's brother on his dad's side, Tyson, took his own life. So as we work through that every single day, there's so many different questions that go with matters like this that happen, but also too, friends that are battling and struggling with addiction, so on and so forth. If you know me, I kind of talk around in circles, but immediately when I hear about suicide, my first initial reaction is, oh my God, how low they must felt that they had absolutely no way out. And unfortunately, this beautiful individual, young, leaving behind a gorgeous 1-year-old baby boy, almost 1-year-old, and just, I guess, couldn't fight the fight. And immediately was like, okay, we have got to start really talking about this, because oh my gosh, it is happening when it is your son's friends. That it's time to make a movement out of it. And it was just last month that we put my aunt in the ground because of addiction. And addiction is another thing that is just so misunderstood, because there's so many different things that go with addiction and being an addict and the whole lifestyle of it and what it's like to be one and love one and be in recovery from being one. Because once you're an addict, I do truly solely believe that we're forever in recovery. Everyone is in some form of recovery. There's no one out there that's like, oh, I have got my shit 100% in line. I know for me, I was a troubled teenager. I was experimental. I had my drug addiction. I went balls to the walls when it was my time, and I had a baby, a drug addiction, all under my belt before I turned 18 years old. So when I speak about sobriety, don't think that I'm freaking perfect. I have 17 years sober from doing hard street drugs. Like, boom! I was hardcore. I'm not the type of personality that can go back just once, because I'm gonna want to be completely committed and do everything. So 17 years, I don't mess around with that stuff. In my 20s, I've shared with you guys, I struggled with alcohol. Working in the industry, getting out of the corporate industry, being around those like little loose ends and so on and so forth. And really, I was drinking myself into my own depression. And I'm so grateful for that, because that really taught me a lot about everything that I coach people on now, about isolating yourself, about what it's like to put new steps into play, replace old habits with new habits, and to start talking about some of the funk that's going on in individuals' heads on a sober basis. I'm sober. I go out. I have drinks every now and again, but it's nothing for me if I don't drink for a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's not something I need or require anymore. My hang up as an adult now, anyone that knows me, was my last thing I wanted to wrap up was smoking cigarettes. I used to be Marby Barbie and like super loved it, loved everything about it. And I still have to treat those like, if I smoke one, I'm gonna smoke the whole freaking pack. So I just have to, I say no. And the next thing is muffins. Everyone knows that about me. I love muffins. When you start to feed those cravings, whatever it is, if it's food, if people that are watching and tuning in, if you do have a drug addiction, or you're taking, the pills the wrong way, or whatever it may be, I just want you to check yourself, because it boils down to quality of life. A lot of people I coach are on antidepressants. That's a really touchy, weird subject too, and to each his own. It boils down to quality of life. For me, I played the antidepressant game 2 different times, giving them an honest whirl for 3 months. I felt even more sad on them than I was at my worst moments. I get lows. My lows are low, 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 low. And when I hear about suicide, again, I go back to, holy fuck. I wish I could have been in their mind and helped them through it, because I've been there so many times. Which sounds pretty fucked up if you think about it. To think about killing yourself. That's deep. But I choose every day to get up and just fight a little bit harder. Because it's really hard to be sober. And I really want to continue that sober lifestyle, just as I've wanted to continue that sober life for 17 years. It's okay to start day one. You should be proud of it. I honored every day, and I still honor every single day. When my sobriety date came around, April 24th of this year, and I clocked off 17, boom. I wanted to make a live so bad, but I was too embarrassed. There goes the stigma of things. I was embarrassed what people would think. That was the Casey 17 years ago. The Casey now stands in front of crowds and talks about this type of stuff. And if we were to have more and more support groups like this, maybe less people would continue to use and go down to that low. It's not right to be attending kids' funerals. It's fucking gross. It's awful. It's sad. It's disgusting. Why is it happening? Why are people using and using and using and never wanting to get off of this and see truly what life is like and how beautiful it is from the sober shades? There are so many different alternatives for individuals out there in this day and age, from therapeutic to massage to plant medicine to CBD. We've got the internet, the most underutilized tool if you think about it. How many hours a day are you on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Snapchat, but you can't even sit and look at what alternative things there are out there that you could use if you are experiencing depression, overwhelmness, panic. There's a difference from sadness and depression. Depression, here, let me tell you about my low, okay? So if you can relate, awesome. Well, not that awesome. I don't really want you to. I wish everyone such happiness, but if you get it, great. Maybe this is the point you shut the video off because you're like, wow, she's fucked up. But my depression has in the past kept me in my bed for days. I either don't eat at all, which that's the usual thing. Anyone that knows me knows I love food. Or I binge eat. I isolate myself away from everyone, everything. Well, again, I don't allow myself to stay in this place, and thankfully the lifestyle and the routine that I've created on purpose forces me to stay on my A game. It's my tribe. I had to create a tribe. It takes a team to raise children. It takes a team to walk this game of life, lady friends. I'm telling you, it's not freaking easy and it's not freaking pretty. Sadness and, again, depression. I can go from being really happy to seconds later manic crying and wanting to basically drive in front of a semi, if you want to get morbid with it. And other people that experience those lows, this isn't something I asked for. This isn't something I've chosen. This is the way that my brain operates. And every single day I get up and I just fight. I just fight a little bit more and a little bit more. I just got to take a moment because it's been a while since I've made a video, and especially when it's on such a deep hitting basis like this. Like this one strikes me really hard. I just want you guys to all know that you're loved, you're beautiful. I know it sounds super cliche, but your unlimited potential, I promise you that if you have the right people in your playing field, you can do whatever you want. I was set to be a stat as a 16-year-old dropout, pregnant, meth head and coke head by 17. Just gonna be a loser. I could have hung on to everything, you guys. I could have hung on to everything that happened. I'll share all that upcoming, but just wanted to prove everyone wrong. You've got to fall in love with something that you love more than your addiction. Chew on that. I love you. Keep shooting for the stars, guys, because I believe in you. Much love. Stay tuned for my workshops. Boom. Happening this month. Details to come. Love you. Bye.